Hello, 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 hello. Hello, friends. Hello, family. Hello, beloved. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and you're welcome to the Wise Builders. Good evening. Good evening. Nice to see you all. Good evening to as many people that are looking tonight or watching or tuned in, as you may want to call it. I'm happy to see you. God bless you. I'm just sharing. Just pardon me 1 second. Good evening. Happy to see you. Happy to see you. Happy to see you all. Happy viewing to everyone. And I'm excited to be here again tonight. We give God the praise for his faithfulness. I just want to appreciate God for his faithfulness, for his faithfulness. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, a few friends are online. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I'm trying to see what I can do with all these phone requests and everything. Okay, lo, okie dokies, okie dokies, okie dokies. I'm inviting friends. Just pardon me and give me just 1 second. Good to see you, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Reverend Dolly, and if tonight is the first time on the Wise Builders, you're welcome. And if you're a returnee, we really appreciate you. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you being there for us. And I just want to thank the Lord for you, and thank the Lord for myself, and thank the Lord for each and every one of us. Tonight, we're going to be speaking on a topic I titled Blended Marriage. Please help me to share this for the sake of those going into second marriages or planning to go into second marriages. Um, to be honest with you, it's not sometimes it's uncalled for, but it just happened. Nobody goes into a first marriage with the intention of going to the second one or planning to go into the second one. But for one reason or the other, you find people remarrying for one reason or the other, or entering into a second marriage. So this will be good. If you know any of such person or people, just please help me to share with them tonight. Like I said, my name is Reverend Dolly. For the sake of those that are joining us for the first time, and if you're returning, God bless you. We're streaming on 2 or 3 devices, so I'm a little bit distracted, but I'm back on now. So as we said, tonight I'll be talking on a topic. Good evening, man of God. Pastor Okikiola Holy Ghost Koboko. God bless you. God bless you to as many people online. Without much ado, let's just crack on. I want to speak to us about a topic titled Blended Family. Some people call it blended marriage. And I'll try and define why it is called that. I'm going to speak about a lot of positives, and next week I'll tell you few things about things to look out for, or that can be a discouragement, and or that can be a negative aspect of blended marriage. So what is a blended marriage? Blended marriage is something we know as a second marriage. Some people call it step family. So it's basically a family that is formed when two people come together and bring children from previous relationship. This is called a blended marriage. So when we hear, I know some of us know it, some of us imagine it, some of us had seen it, but most of us might have not been there. I'm in a blended marriage now, so I can speak about it. Sometimes when I look at my life, I'm like, why did God allow me to go through all these seasons of life, in this little time of mine on earth? But I guess it's so that I can empower other people. So you're welcome onto this platform. So a blended marriage, it's called step family, and it involves children brought in from other marriages. Sometimes it can be, for example, I've married and I don't have a child, and my husband has children, or my husband doesn't have children. I'm the one that's got children, or both of us has children. But it's before it can be called a blended marriage, it involves other children. Otherwise, it's just a second marriage. It's not all second marriages that are blended marriage. Some people are married for the first time, they didn't have any children from that marriage. So there's nothing they are blending apart from themselves. So usually the children or people from blended families, sometimes they are confused, they don't even know what to call it. But usually, for example, if I'm from a blended family now, I want to introduce my stepbrother. Sometimes we are reluctant. I don't want to say my stepbrother. Some of them are bold to say it's my brother. Some of them say, oh, meet my family member. So there's still that reluctance about what do we call them. So, and blended marriage can come in several shapes. It can come in sizes. Like I explained to you, it can be you bringing your own children from that relationship, or both of you. If it's one person bringing children into the relationship or a child into relationship, sometimes it's still a little bit straightforward, but it gets really complicated when A is bringing children and B is bringing children. Sometimes we try to be naive. Sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes we pretend as if we know and we don't even know until you get into it before you know the dynamics. So I'm going to speak to us about how to prepare for a blended marriage. One of the major issues that I find out that people experience in a blended marriage is the game of assumption. I'm coming into his life now. He has children, for example. I just automatically assume that I'm those children's mother. Is a capital no. Or they assume that they are their father, vice versa. You see, blended family means they have their mother before and they had their father before. Either way, either death or divorce or separation has made them to lose their parents. You see, when they lose their parent perpetually, as in if the parents are dead, to be honest with you, it's even worse. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe that child doesn't have a father or mother again, and they're going to a blended marriage. You think, oh, after all, and the father coming in will assume, or the mother coming in, oh, yeah, they don't have any other father, I will automatically be their father. No. Or I will automatically be their mother. No. In fact, children grieve their parents and they are jealous in either two ways. Is either a child is grieving their parents and say, if it's not for the death of my father or my mother, you don't meet the criteria, or I wouldn't even be considering it. So because of that, nothing for you. Other ones, it's be like, okay, I still have my mother, so why would you replace my mother? So first and foremost, we Africans, we make that mistake. I gave a short example last week, whereby a gentleman was going to marry somebody abroad, and he started preparing. He's not even seen the woman, their courtship period, and he has not met those children. Started saying to them, you know what? Tell those children, as I'm coming in now, they should know that their father is coming. They should prepare. You throw. In fact, you would destroy that marriage before you go into it. You are not their father by rights. But at the end of the day, you will become their father. So don't assume that you are their father. You are a stepfather. You are still a father, but not their biological father. And they may choose, especially as I'm going to go on, stages, ages of those children may make them think, I've come across few of them that said to me, Pastor, I can't relate with him. I can't relate with her as my father. Their fathers are still alive. They're my mom's either husband or fiancé or whatever, but not my husband. So, but one thing I want to tell you is no matter how strange or difficult things seems at first, with open communication, mutual respect, listen, and plenty of love and patience, you will assume that position of their mother. Yeah, none of us wants to go into somebody's. To be honest with you, if you think about it, I'm going to a man's house or to a man's family, and I've got my baggage, my children. There are issues to consider. What about if those other children don't accept my children? What if my children don't accept those children? We automatically assume that they will tag along. Children are not items. And this is not about you. That's why it's called family. It's not about you. You're thinking about you and your own emotion. Yeah, I want to marry Mr. A, and I want to marry Mrs. B. Automatically, my children should gravitate toward them. Pastor Soji, God bless you, sir. The pastor is really taking good care of you. Keep fulfilling heavenly mandate, Reverend Dolly. Thank you so much, Pastor Soji John. God bless you, sir. Amen. He's trying his best. He's trying. He can do more. I know he's watching. I don't want him to. He can do more. Anyways, let's go. Go on. So thank you, sir. So we cannot assume, you know, that a blended relationship or blended marriage, those children will gravitate towards them. And by rights, that is our position. No. That's why I said, is blended marriage for real? Is it a real marriage? I'll come to that conclusion, and then you will come to that conclusion as we're going on. So trying to make a blended family a replica of your first marriage first is a failure. Or if you have an idea that is a nuclear family, it's not a nuclear family. It's a kind of family. So, and usually because of this, it set people up for confusion, frustration. They are disappointed, But instead of doing that, why don't you embrace the differences? Have an idea that these children, I say to people, you have to earn it. It's not automatic. That position has to be earned. The position, for example, okay, when I wanted to marry my children, I just did not dump my husband or my children. We're going to get that. He earned that position. He earned it because it's not their biological father. So you are just bringing a man from somewhere, and you think because you are a woman or their mother. And that is the reason why we lose our children in blended marriage and relationship. Most blended marriages and relationship, if care is not taken, those children take out of that marriages, or they start behaving strangely. I'll give you an example. A certain woman, as she was, I think she was divorced. So she had these two lovely boys. I'm telling you, so I didn't witness it. Somebody told me the story. She had these two lovely boys, and then so this will teach us how to do things right. I'll give you two examples. And then, she respected them in a way that she only brings a man in when the children are not there. I'm going to still talk about that. Don't bring them in when they are not there. Respect your children. We're going to get to that. So she normally brings them, sneaks the man in. So the children knows. So usually the father comes to pick them for weekend, blah, blah, blah. So I won't say the profession of the man just in case somebody knows the story. So this particular man, has a kind of job that works up during the weekend. And then, during the weekend. And then the mother Monday they have a kind of arrangement. Anyway, they drop. So usually he comes to pick those children to go along to help him in his kind of work. And the children goes with him. So on this part, so the woman automatically believes that she has the whole house to herself. Unfortunately, that particular weekend, the father maybe took ill at work. He took them on Friday. By Saturday morning, he came to drop them. When he dropped them, who did his children find? They found Mr. Range Rover or Mr. Mercedes Benz or Mr. Jeep in front of their house, already parked. Obviously, they go inside the sitting room. They saw his agbada there. It was, they were just doing their life, doing their thing in the bedroom. Those children got angry. They got frustrated. They felt bad. You know what they did? I was told that they took all the man's agbada. It happened in a Western country. They took the man's agbada, dumped them in the washing machine, took his tire. I think they punctured his tire or did some bad, stupid things to the man. And then the mother felt bad. Immediately the man came downstairs, he started screaming and shouting at them. Children. And I was like, when I heard the story, you want to think who does not have respect out of the two? Is it those children or the mother? If you treated their home, you're not married to their mother, you're sleeping with their mother in the room, and even the mother that did not even lay her bed very well. So I understand sometimes that they are precious. After you've been married for a while and you've been widowed or divorced or whatever, and a man or a woman, you've seen somebody in your life. That's why we don't encourage long courtship in your second marriages, because it's a waste of time, because you have the feeling already. Before you know it, things start happening. But irrespective of that, please respect those children. So let's keep going on. So how do we prepare for a blended marriage? Like I said, no matter how difficult. Another lady was going to marry and and a friend that told me, she was saying, oh, what about your children? Have you considered your children? Said, doesn't matter. It's my life. I want to marry. They don't have a choice. Those children were like in their, one was about 10, another one 14, another one maybe 6 or so. He said it doesn't matter that, yeah, and their mother dictated pace. And she lost the children. At the end of the day, those children are in care now. So please, it's your life. Remember, these children have their lives. And now we are in a very civilized world. So please be careful. It's not about your emotions. It's not about you when you are going to a blended relationship. It's about every one of you. You have to consider the A side as you're bringing them in, and consider the B side. And then a major thing that I want to say is both of you, as in the two people going into that relationship, madam and uncle, both of you have to be civil. If you can be civil, as in responsible, polite, towards each other. I'll give you a very good example. I'm going to be told off for saying this, but I have to just say it. When I was courting my husband, I told him and I made it very, very clear. We live in like almost 2.5 hours drive away from each other. The most he does is come in the morning, come to see me. We can go or do everything, see family, and go. Until we married, he did not sleep or spend the night in my house. Not because I was doing goody two shoe. I had children to respect. I wasn't expecting, I had children to respect. I wasn't expecting disobedience, and I don't want people I don't want him to be disrespected, and I will not disrespect my children. So for the first thing, if you are going to a blending or blended relationship, the first thing you have to do is be civil. Sit the man down, respect your children. That's the first thing. If you don't respect these children, they will not respect you. I remember I was seeing somebody before I got married, and we were talking over the phone, and this topic came up, and the person was like, hey, you have to explain to the children. I said, listen, and it was like, oh, does it mean you fear your children? I said, I don't fear my children. In fact, if I tell my children, even the elders taller than me sit down there, they are not stand up, but I respect them. I can't bring a man into their home. Neither would I bring them into another man's home. Even if it's the man, you going to visit him, he has children in his home. You have to respect his children. So it's vice versa. I don't care who is visiting who. It could be me visiting my husband or my husband visiting me. Either way, they are children. So both of you must speak, respect yourself. That's why these children, they will not be rebellious. Like I said to you, it is not automatic right. You are not their father, you are not their mother. You are a stepfather and a stepmother, and you have to earn being a father or being a mother. Over the time, you have to. Thank you, sir. Brother Shola, God bless you. So that's the first thing. So all relationship must be respectful. Everyone respects themselves. Give those children their respect, and let them just sit down. Maybe I don't know, because now this one I sit down and we're debriefing, kind of myself, my husband, we're talking. I'm like, maybe it's the maturity, maybe it's the age that gave him the knowledge and wisdom. He gave them their space and their respect, and they respected him. Everybody was looking at themselves, and then don't assume, call those children. As soon as I knew that we're getting serious, don't call them at the initial stage. And I knew that it looks like this is going to lead to marriage. I called my children, especially the elders. I said, it looks like so. I'm planning this. And they started laughing. He said, how serious? And even it was so funny. The elders, when I told him, oh, we're getting serious, he said, but you've only met like 3 months. I said, yes, and we're planning marriage in three months. He said, I don't know why you guys are raising according to his word. I'll quote and unquote. And then we used to travel because my husband used to come in the morning. We were traveling and I'll go. He said, I see you guys raising all over. Just don't raise yourself to death. I'm like, these children, their mouth. It was just like, I'm watching. So he stood back. He was watching. They want to know whether the father, the man or the woman earns that relationship of being their mother or father. They will compare you in their head. At that time, they don't want anybody taking their father's space or their mother's space. So don't say, you are the one that does not beko. You are the one that's not well trained. Because if you're well trained, you will know that you are entering somebody's vicinity. When I married, I took my time. My husband had all the children and my own children. I gave them their rest. I said, listen, take time. It can take a year, can take 6 months. You are on a long old relationship. It's a long old. So why the gree? You don't have to today. They have to show. A friend said to me, I got to that house. Even his children, they were spoiled. They were looking at me. I said, you are the one that is spoiled. You are going to their father's house, a previous house that belongs to their mother, but for one reason or the other, the mother is not there. You are assuming a responsibility over there. No, you are just a girlfriend, or even if you are married, you are a wife to their father. You are not their mother. Over the time, they will start respecting you when you give them the utmost respect. It took us a while. I can actually say it took us almost 6 8 months before we can say we're close to something. I look at both of them. These ones will be looking at themselves from there. That one will be looking at them from there. The boys watch, especially boys. Their protector is watching. Does he respect my mom? Is he somebody that wants to take advantage? The man is looking. Is he a rude child? Is he a child I can? But please, let's be very, very careful. You win them with time. So remember, they are not an item, like I said. So, and then remember, aspect for everyone's developmental stage differs. So don't compare. A teen is different from a teenager. If I have children now and they are just 5 years, 10 years old, or 9 years old, they crave for that relationship. Let me tell you something. They want a daddy and a mommy. So easily you can buy sweets and cookies for them. But those ones are in their teens. They will look at you with your cookies and they will say, no, thank you. I don't want. Do you want to go out? I remember those days. We'll tell my boy, do you want to go? No, thank you. Hello, sir. He will say to my husband, he will probably say, hello, sir. And he will just leave the sitting room for us. Do you want to go out? We're ordering food. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, ma. It was like, and I know the kind of person I have that is being calculative. They are looking, they don't hate the person, but they want to know, does he earn our respect? If he had been someone that come into their side and they will just, these UK children abroad, they will just, I always say, they will drag you. They will just drag you because it's not something that you can assume a position overnight. You're not their father, you're not their real mother, but over the time you will become more than their father and their real mother. These two that I'm talking about, in fact, they are closer than me. We'll get to the stage. They gossip about me now. They laugh. They do everything. I'm like, so this is good. But we treaded with care. Not that we fear them, but because we respected them. So, and I think maybe because both of us are ministers of God and then both of us are counselors, we know this thing. But some people are still ministers. They don't know. Especially we Africans. We just think it's natural. So know that there should be room for growth. After a few years of blending, families will grow and members will fuse together. What is blending? I want you to imagine a blender. You have a blender, you want to make stew now. You have to put tomatoes, you have to put pepper, you have to put onion, you have to put this and that before you blend everything, before it becomes a smooth paste. It takes a while. That is why we are blending. So this one has grown wings, that one has grown her own wings, this one has baggage, that one has baggage. So we are bringing ourselves. So in such a case, everybody must respect themselves. So how do we plan all these things? Like I said, there's no drastic change. Most of it needs communication. You have to talk about this parenting before you marry. Like my friend's friend that said, after all, what is it? Am I not the breadwinner? Why will I tell my children? Ṣáwọn ló ń bọ́ mi ni? Are they the one? Are they my breadwinner? I'm their breadwinner. Then the children are in care now. They are in care. So let us think very well before we do things. Talk. Tell your spouse about the kind of children you have. Tell them the kind of relationship they had with their father, but that or their mother, but you should not try to imitate that. If imitating it will ruin it. Just be yourself. In fact, if you don't even ask how their father used to do for, just be you, pray, and then treat each other with respect. And the next one is limit your expectation. Give it a lot of time, give it a lot of energy, give it a lot of love, and give it a lot of affection. And then you win those children. And by the way, let me say something. If you don't blend with your stepchildren, you're not going to enjoy their mother or their father. So if you really know you want peace, Nigerian men, please, this is more for us or for you. we assume that's right, that okay, I'm marrying their mother, obalo nile lo leru. It doesn't happen like that. Because I'm marrying their mother, they are an item I've acquired. Children are not item. They're individuals that you need to respect, that you need to love. And remember, no child want their mother or their father to be replaced. No child. Circumstances of life has made a lot of children lose their mother or father due to death or divorce or anything. So you are coming into their life. You need to bond with your new family. You need to take your time, win them, love them, do everything, try to find out what they like. You're not pampering them, you're not spoiling them, but respect them as you would do. Just realize that these ones, I think the best thing is the moment you know that these children are not my children by birth. I want to assume that position. I do not have it by rights. I have to earn it. That is just it. You have to earn that relationship. So you have to make sure that in your blended marriage, you see it's safe, secure, loved, valued, appreciated, and encouraged. These are words. You see, a lot of people go about nowadays and say, oh, second marriages don't work. It does work. To be honest with you, it's not easy peasy. I will tell you, I had to leave Wise Builder for a couple of months because I need to attend to my own front. There was a lot of things I need to change about myself, and I'm still changing, and it's still changing. So, a blended marriage is not easy. It's actually more difficult than forced marriages because you are forcing a lot of things together, and it takes a lot of blending, grinding, understanding, separation. Sometimes we try to grind things together, it didn't happen. So let your stepchildren set the pace. Don't set the pace for them. So it is their routine. Like I said, is their time. I told you my own will just watch us from far. He was looking during our wedding. He did very well, as in you're going to get married. But one of the things that I'm going to talk about it is use routine. Because some children are shy, some are introverted, some are outgoing. Like we said, we used to invite him when we want to go. Oh, we want to go out for food. Oh, say thank you, I'm not interested. So I knew he was creating a lot of boundaries. And then when we were talking about it, I said to him, he said, you know what, I know my younger brother still needs a father, but for me, to be honest with you, I don't need a father figure in my life. Fact. 18 plus going 19, I don't need a father figure in my life. But now, in fact, he's hijacked the father figure from me. There's the relationship between them is so solid because of wisdom. And thank God, like I said, that my husband showed the wisdom. Peradventure, if you said, what does it mean? Because I told him, I said, please, I've spoken to him about us. And one of the things he said, verbatim, he felt disappointed. And I tried to explain to him. I said, listen, it's not being rebellious. It's just that it takes time. And he understood. And we want them to our side. True love, true affection, true patience. Maybe that time if you had said, no, yes, I'm the head of this home and everything, they will just say, they will frustrate you. Like those children that went to puncture the whole of their father. They did not, in fact, their mother has not been married till then. The children now grew wings. They frustrated. And I'm sure by the time they realize it, they will be older. Or they will be, and their mother will be miserable. And she will have missed her chances. But because she was doing it wrong, she was thinking it's my home, and then blah, blah, blah. So use routine and rituals. Like one of the first things is I used to have a ritual. Make sure you prioritize them, even if they are not, thank God he's not listening to me. Even if they are not number one, make them think they are number one. It's a game because you need to win them to your spouse. You are blending them. So make sure you don't break routine. For example, annually from time immemorial, over 10 years, I have to make sure that I go on a family holiday with my children. It's been part of their life. So you will not now marry and say, okay, yes, I need, because I'm married now, they are not part of it. You have to plan it. So one of the first, if it makes you doing extra hours, first make sure that the next couple of years you don't break their routine. So they don't think they are not their item. They don't think, okay. So they think really, really true. Okay. So that's the use routine and rituals to bond. Creating family, make sure that what they are used to, like if they used to visit the beach, if they used to go weekends, if you want to go their bad days, all the things they used to do, make sure none of it is broken. Either sides too. Not one side. I'm talking of both sides, both the man and the woman. One side The children could have been married, more mature. In fact, if they are married, you need extra knowledge how to deal with them. Um, I'm coming. There's a question that's coming. Bless you, sir. It says, Mr. Olamide, bless you, sir. I said, good evening, man. Is it advisable for a 55-year-old man to marry a young lady of 26 years instead of marrying one that has children? That's a very good one, sir. God bless you. Age has nothing to do with it. It depends. I would say the age gap, it's a red flag. It's an issue. But if the man is patient, and if the woman, they will need to go through a lot of counseling, and most of these things that we're talking about has to be highlighted. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would say it is advisable to marry somebody much older because of his baggages. A 26 years old is still full of exuberances. A 26 years old still wants, okay, the things I'm thinking about now, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I have a lot of things going on for me, consolidating, that's the word, my life, not just starting. A 21-year-old just wants you, 26, a 55-year-old may not want a child. And if you want, maybe just one to one, 26-year-old may want two or three. That's an issue for the man. She may not understand. She may be so disrespectful to the older children, 26 and 55, But if they do things very well, it may be a good blend. Sometimes age is a very, very good blend. Sometimes when I want to be naughty around the house, I do it because I know that age gap. It thinks about it just being, leave her, just let her be. But if it's your mate, sometimes you give yourself bath boost. But sometimes when the age differs, it treats you like a pet or whatever, you're able to slide or get away with some other things. So for me, it could work. It depends on the man. How mature is the man? How prepared is he, and how prepared or matured is the lady? If the lady is very mature, she knows what she's doing, then they should be able to crack it together. And I think there could be a very good blend. There could actually be a good blend, but he has to set his kind of book straight with her. You see, there's a lot of disadvantages as I go on. Thank you, sir. Please drop your question. There's a lot of disadvantage which I'm going to talk about next week. I'm trying to tell you about the beauty of it. The beauty of it is actually you're bringing a lot of flavor into your life. Things that you don't expect. For example, if he has older children, you become their friend. But those older children, I'm telling you, their own, they are so is another, their own. You have to use sense, you have to be wise, because you can't call them by their name. You have to respect them. If they are married, you are not their mother. I remember there was a time, I'll give you a good example. It was about 2 years or three after I just got widowed, and then there was this elderly man in my community. Then it's not where I live now, where I used to live. That was asking me. Used to come to church and was asking me, I didn't know you're a good girl like this. So I said, how old are you, Daddy? Then I was in my 40s. He said, I'm 80. He didn't want to say that. Later I said 80 something. I started laughing. I said, I said, you're even older. And truly then he was older than my father. I said, my father would kill me. I can't take you up. He said, what do you mean? So sometimes when we're in church and he comes in, we say, hello, how are you? Your children, your children said I should greet you. I said, our mommy, your firstborn is 50 something older than me. I said, Daddy, please. Àwọn yẹn ò lè ṣe ọmọ mi. They can't be my children, and I just told the man blatantly, that it can't work. Even my father will keep me. This too old for me. Too old, twice my age, But some people, they don't mind. But for me, it won't rock my whole life. It won't rock my world. Too much of differences in the age and a lot of things. But the funny aspect I brought out is it was calling 50-something-year-old. So if I'm not a well-trained child, now see my 50-something-year-old, I'm 40-something, I'll get there. Mama, I will not be calling them name. Because somebody say I want more, Nico, okay, and I'll say Afunke, Shegun, God forbid. You have to understand that their auntie or mommy is something. You have to give them their respect. Thank you, man of God, Pastor Tokwe Opale. Thank you, said I'm down to. I try to keep it real, sir. So you have to create this bond. As I go back, you have to create this bond. You have to understand that you have to speak to them. Respect their boundaries. Respect them. You see, I'll say something. It took us like 8 or 9 months. We're now going to go on a family holiday. Everybody, the one in uni came home, and I said to him, nothing breaks it. It was like, So I knew that, okay, with school and everything, they escape, but on holiday, we are all stuck together. So both of us, we started praying towards it. We invested in the holiday, we started praying towards it because it's going to be a time that the four of us will be stuck together. We can't go anywhere. And then we got on holiday. The first thing that happened was at the airport. I didn't know how I did it. I checked the three of us in. For one reason or the other, we didn't check my husband in. How we got there and the flight was not going to carry us. And the person, my firstborn just said something. He said, you know what? If Reverend is not going, we're all not going. I was like, where is that coming from? I was so surprised. And he was causing trouble. He said, you know what? He was saying to the attendant, you want to disrupt our family? You can't allow my dad not to go with us. I was like, this was somebody 18 months ago that said, I don't need a father figure in my life. But because he treated them with respect, maintained their boundary. I said, sometimes I used to pity him. In those days, 7, 8, he would just be leaving for his destination. And I was just like, he said, we have a space. We have, at least not in the main house that he could stay. He said, don't worry. Let me go back. I used to pity him. But we knew something. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Don't bother. But we just had to respect. Otherwise, you're going to lose your children. You're going to gain your spouse and you're going to lose your children. So it's not as if somebody will tell you, your children have become, any man that's even telling you your children have become your God, that means he's not putting his house in order. He doesn't understand. This does happen to us. Please share with people that are going, because we hear it. You crash the marriage before going into it. There's nothing we are rushing for. Speak to them. Tell them about the woman or the man. Listen to their opinion. I asked him his opinion. Was like, okay. Then towards the wedding, I found out he said praying. I said, pray. This is what I'm praying. He said, I'm praying, but it's your thing. At that time, I'm not involved. By the time we went on the holiday, we grew together, we're eating together, we're conversing, praying together. Everybody said that. By the following year, before notice, everybody started requesting that, okay, when is our family holiday? So that did a lot of wonder. We didn't think about the money, so you have to invest. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be travel outside the country. Wherever you are, make sure there's something that will bond you together. Respect them. Let them feel sincerely that, okay, this is it. This is it. And same vice versa. When the older ones come, make sure you welcome them home. Let them create time for them. Give them time. Speak to them. Romance them. Be intentional about it. So plan at least one thing that used to happen to them. You cannot plan your own thing. If I want to do my own personal holiday, we do our own, but their own, I make sure that I have to, whatever God will provide, we have to ensure that they go. So it's something. And then after the first one, I said, guys, listen, even when you are married, this is a family tradition. You don't break it. We are one. We are one wherever we go. That's where everybody, there's no need for scheming or thinking, and then, can you imagine? I mean, you and your children will be gossiping about your spouse, and no, don't give room for that. There's a tendency that is going to happen if you leave any crack. So from day one, lay the table. It's their father, you are their mother, but it's not by right. So over the time, it took us, like I said, over 8-9 months before we were even nearer to it. But now I can say that, okay, we know we are I can say that we're a family. So as at the time you're going, make sure. And then if any one of them says to you, a child said to me, the man is like 10 years older than me, I can't assume that it's my father. I said, fair enough. So I asked her, what would you be calling your stepfather? Said, I call him, they're European. Said, I call him his name. I said, fair enough. That's okay. If it's okay. And I counseled the mother. I said, take it easy with her. Take it easy. And now they're living happily. So it takes wisdom. So family meals, talking to them, picking interest. My husband would deliberately pick interest in their career, in his career, ask him questions. In fact, now he's overdone things that he will go to him than me to ask me things. We don't see We don't sit outside, or somebody will now say, no, no, we are family. We do things together, and that's the way it should be, but it's not magic. So I'm going to round it up today if there's no other question. So that's why it is called a blended family. The major issue that I want to strike tonight, or I want to note tonight, is you do not earn that relation. You have to earn that relationship. You are not my husband because you are a man, or because I'm lonely and miserable and you want to marry me. So you think you're doing me and my children a favor and dragging them into your life? No. And you are not their mother. So, as many people that go into second marriages, you need to talk to your children. Otherwise, you're going to lose your children. And it's not worth it, because he or she is not going to lose their children because of you. So we get so much in love, and sometimes we just want, like my friend said, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It's I'm their breadwinner. They have to gravitate towards me. I said, no, you have to respect your children. The story I gave earlier on, the guy really, those children destroyed their mother's life because they really showed hatred to the man, and the man left. I had another one that somebody told me that the man, they got married. The man had to go back to Africa. They brought him from Africa. To be honest with you, when this man is sat in the sitting room watching TV, this boy, because so if your children are rebellious to your wife or to your husband, you did not lay your bed right. So for those of us that we just want to go into it, please lay it very, very well. It takes time. And let me tell you something, they will agree. So this guy will be sat watching TV. This boy will just come from nowhere, take remote, switch it off. In fact, I was told that the TV is a TV, those ones that has wheel. The TV stand has wheel. This boy will deliberately remove the plug and wheel it off. They say when the man has prepared his lunch, he wants to go to work. When daddy has already prepared his lunch, put it on the table, he wants to go to the bathroom to shower and get ready. Before he comes, this boy will deliberately go there. He will eat the food. He's just deliberately being rebellious. Because why? The guy has not respected him. So respect their space. Either way, I'm talking vice versa, whether you're the one going there, whether you're the one going either way, or even if you're going to get a new place together, the time of courtship is a time that you have to stylishly, with patience, blend everybody together. So I'm going to end it on this note. I plead with you by the grace of God, please take things to heart. You don't earn. You are not their mother. I married my husband, and I told him initially was like, you don't mean it. You're the listen, I am not their mother. I'm not their biological mother. I'm a stepmother. I have to earn my position. And I'm doing it gradually. You have to earn it. And that's the same thing I said to him. Initially, for an African man, an African woman, we don't like hearing it. But you are not their parent. You're not their biological. You are their step parents. So stop messing the life of that woman up. Stop messing the life of that man up. Because when you destroy their children, or you destroy his children or our children, then you destroy his or her life in later years. So what we need ourselves, and that's why it is called blended marriage. If you're joining now or see me for the first time, I can say some name. Joining us for the first time, you're welcome to this platform. Please watch it from the beginning and help to share it. Next week, I'm going to speak about disadvantages of blended marriage. That is why a lot of people don't go into it, which include assets and liabilities. We are going to talk about that, whether you like it or not. Asset is always an issue. When you're going into it, I'll give you a tip. Who is moving? Location, when you are blending, there's several areas. I spoke about children today. I'm still going to speak about career. I'm going to speak about location. For us, it was a very lengthy period of who is moving, who is shifting, we have to. You have to think about the children. The best interest of the children must not come. If you love their father, the best interest of these children. If you love the mother, the best interest of those children. So then the next thing is location. You can't displace people just because you want to get married or at the same time. So you have to think about your career. So we have to look at all these things and the modalities that will make you and make it work. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Olanikweku. Thank you, sir. Please, next week, 8:30 p.m., I'll give you example why it is so discouraging. It can be a lot of headache. Blended marriage, if you are not, I told you I had to leave Wise Builder, leave everything to concentrate on my life because I was too busy at the time I married, and I expected that my husband would just marry me and everything will be going like that. But he's a much calmer person, much organized. He kept saying, so I was just like, okay, I need to readdress things. I need to take a seat back, look at my life. So there's a lot of things. And like I said, there's major thing, which is assets, liabilities. People don't want to, you have to protect the interest of A and you protect the interest of B. It is deeper. And then if you are not prepared for that, you can't go into it. And if you want to go into it, you must be successful. Until next week, when I come your way, today we spoke about blended marriage, which we call step marriage, step children, step kindergarten, second marriages, basically. But I don't want to repeat myself. Please watch it. Help me to share it. Share it for people. Let us know that marriage has to be enjoyed and endured. But once we lay our foundation very well, I looked every time and I know that it's not us. Both of us look and say, how did we do it? It's just God that helped us. It was just God that helped us. And we were so prayerful because we're like, especially regarding children. I know that once we mess up with those children, we mess the whole marriage up. And you want peace of mind. You want to come home. Don't, not that somebody had called the police on the other or fighting or anything and everything. We just came back from Monday. Everybody is fine. Everybody is fine, looking up to the next one because everybody respected themselves. So look at the tips that were already given today, and the Lord will bless you. Until next week, when I come back your way, the Lord keep us, the Lord empower us and enrich us. For the sake of those that you've already entered it and things are not the best, I pray that Jehovah God himself will sweeten it. Every wine that has gone sour, every water that is finished, a wine that's finished, the Lord Jehovah will replenish it. He will bring sweetness into your home. It doesn't matter. Don't think because you have not done it right from the start, you cannot do it. Watch this tip. You can befriend those children again. Be intentional about it, but you need to win your children. You did not bring your children up to dump them for the man or for the woman. Both of you, and you must not use A children to spite B and B. Those children, if he's helping to bring yours up, you must help to bring his own up. Both of them has to be successful. I'm going to talk about this next week as well, but it's a major thing. Marriage is not to be selfish for you to enjoy it alone. Your children must enjoy it. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. Shalom, 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 everyone. Thank you, everyone online. I appreciate and I salute. God bless you. Bye-bye.